You're listening to Tehachapi with Key Budge, Corey Costello, and Greg Garrett.
Tehachapi time once again. Key Budge, Greg Garrett, Ashley Whitmore substitutes in for Corey Costello. Ashley, welcome back.
Thank you. It's going to be a much better show today.
I couldn't agree more. Awesome.
Yeah. And Greg, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Keith. Thank you.
We're going to talk about something that's pretty cool. And Ashley, it makes sense to have you here as the airport manager, that today's topic is something that's going to be taking place in May. Let's share a little quick overview, if you don't mind.
A few months ago, I was actually approached by one of our tenants who had a full proposal ready to go for me for a STOL event, which is a short takeoff and landing event. So there is the Husky National STOL, and he had some sort of connection through them. He thought Tehachapi would be a great place for the first West Coast STOL event.
The first West Coast
The very
STOL
first.
event. I love it. So today we have brought in from Florida all the way across the country.
And she's actually in studio, not a Zoom, but
Right.
actually sitting to my right.
This is the first time we've had a guest fly in to do the show. Miss Anitra Goddard, welcome to Tehachapi.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
When Ashley told me that you guys wanted to do the event here, what an honor for us here in Tehachapi to host an event like that.
Well, we're really excited to be here. This was the first edition that we started negotiating to add to this season. This is our full second season that we've just started in December. Dustin knows Tom, who is one of the owning partners of the series, and we came out here, we looked at it, I got covered in snow, but coming through with the mountains, it was wonderful. We want to reach a broader audience to bring STOL to pilots everywhere, and we're excited. This is, as of now, this is the highest elevation that we'll be competing at in the series schedule this year.
It's very cool. You think about STOL, think about Alaskan bush planes, right? You have these, typically they're smaller airplanes, maybe fabric. Sometimes they're kit built, but sometimes not. And they have big tires and they go land in the bush. Hunters, fishermen, sometimes taking supplies to homes and cabins. But there's a lot of hobbyists that have turned this into an event, if you will, your event, and where they compete for the short takeoff and landings. And they compete to see who can land the shortest and who can take off in the shortest distance.
That is correct.
Yeah,
yes.
so
yes,
very
absolutely.
cool.
With this event, it's not just a singular event. This is a part of a series, a national series that's going on. So we're just one of the points where these pilots come and accumulate points to try and win a national championship.
That is correct. Yes, we have 8 events all over the U.S. And again, most of the events are in the Southeast. And we really wanted to come out and connect with the West Coast. We have STOL Drag that's a little different there out west, and there's not a lot of traditional STOL competitions going on out here. So it just was a perfect fit, and we're so excited to be here.
Well, we're honored that you chose Tehachapi Municipal Airport as your first West Coast event, and it's named the Southern California STOL. And I get that. It's not Tehachapi STOL, it's SoCal STOL. So we can gather more people, more competitors, more attendees, people that can view and watch this event. I encourage everyone to come out.
I was thinking, it's a spectator event. This is something, I'm not a pilot, but this would be fun to watch. What's it like on the spectator side for the non-pilot like me? I would think that's pretty cool to bring the family out to.
What really drew me to it, when I stumbled across it 2 years ago, I immediately knew that I wanted to be a part of it. Just a little background on how I got involved is I've been a volunteer for Sun and Fun for many, many years. I started volunteering in their museum when I was 19 years old. And then I ran special events team for them for the big expo every year. And when STOL came out, the lady that always handles the big events asked me to handle the VIP portion of the STOL competition. And when I saw it for the first time, and I just saw it and I was like, I want to be a part of this. It's an event where you're a lot closer to the aircraft than you would be at a normal air show where you have aerobatics going on. So you get kind of up close and personal. You get to talk to the pilots and look at the aircraft, and a lot of them will give you rides. The pilots love to expose people to the general aviation, and especially kids. And it's being close to it, I think, is what's so exciting. And it's really safe because we're taking off and landing. That's what you do in an airport. So that's what allows us to bring people in a little closer than you normally would for an air show. and everyone's just the culture and the community that we have within our series. Everyone is so friendly and encouraging. So I'm currently a student pilot now. You know, my family is, I have a long history of aviation in my family, but never really felt the need to or want to fly until I started working for Stoll, and I'm watching these guys take off and land and do the measuring. And what it does is we're building safer pilots that are really learning to hone their craft, literally and, you know, figuratively. So I can do this.
I can't wait. You know, you can bring the family, you can bring your lawn chairs, maybe a picnic, and make a day of it.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. That's
So
gonna be
how
super
would
cool.
our residents and other people from California go about getting tickets and coming out to see the event?
Oh, well, just go to nationalstoll.com/SoCal, and we have all the links and all the information. The full schedule is there.
So you can sign up if you're a Stoll pilot. You can register.
Yeah, so that's what they'll go to the website to get those tickets.
Okay.
Preferably, but they can get them at the gate. Correct?
How much are tickets?
It's $15 at the gates, $10 per person. If you sign up online, we give you a little perk there if you commit early, and then children 12 and under are free.
Okay, good. $10. What a deal.
And that's going to be over Memorial Day weekend. It'll be taking place on Saturday, May 28th. Mm-hmm. And the pilots are going to maybe practice a little Friday. So if you're kind of curious and you see these planes on the Friday before, the 27th of May, they're practicing for the event. So they're getting used to altitude. I guess that probably plays into it. And then the surface that they're landing on, because I'm betting each airport they participate in the series is a little bit different.
Yes, that's correct. All of the runways are different. So they'll get in, and just like your car, you know, the altitude changes. And a lot of these, especially our experimental aircraft, they are turboed and tuned, and they have experimental engines on there. If Steve Henry comes out here, he has I believe it's a Yamaha snowmobile engine on the front of that thing. And it's turboed, and he tunes it. So you have to tune your engines to get ready, you know, for altitude changes.
Do you have different classes of aircraft that are going to come in for the event?
We do. We have 6 classes. We just added the light sport. So this is I think it's 106 horsepower or less, no flaps. That's quickly becoming a crowd favorite. But we have heavy touring, which is your Cessna, your 180s, your 182s. Then we have light touring, which are the 170, 172s generally. Then we have the bush, which is where this all originated, you know, the bush planes, and experimental bush, experimental light sport, which is the Steve Henrys, and you know they always have a big draw as well. So a lot of our celebrity pilots are mostly in that class.
So we might get quite a crowd of people just flying in that want to watch.
I suspect,
right?
we will.
A little. I don't want to say air show, but you know, people flying in where the attendees could see other types of airplanes that are on the ramp parked.
Yes, absolutely. And what's really exciting about the heavy touring and the light touring that I like is most of these they're certified aircraft. So they're not modified for Stoll. They fly their families around the country in these aircraft, and then they take everything out, maybe take the front seat out, and then they compete Stoll.
And our airport will be open during this entire time, right? We're going to have air bosses with radios directing traffic and different things, but our airport will be fully operational during this competition.
Absolutely. We never want to close an airport. That's actually one of our criteria, is we want to make sure that the runways are set up in such a way that we can conduct our competition as well as the airport stay open.
And you're going to televise this event.
We do a live broadcast, depending on what the Wi-Fi situation is. We have Starlink now that that's mobile. So we always broadcast all of our events. If there happens to be a challenge with the Wi-Fi and the uplink, we will always post it about 2 or 3 hours after the event.
That's really cool.
If I'm thinking about the airport, where is this going to take place? I know things could change, but if you're a spectator, where are you going to be? Is this going to be on the event center side, the rodeo ground side, or where do I, as a spectator, am I going to view this?
So it will be on the north side, which that's where the event center is, but you will actually be in the aeronautical side of that. So you'll just be north of the runway. Okay.
It'll be fun to watch. As Greg had mentioned earlier, talking about, you know, Alaskan bush pilots. Do we have, or any of the competitors do they have a history of doing this kind of, you know, as work, you know, before, or is it mostly just the hobbyists that have now taken over this, seeing what these pilots do in places like Alaska, and then they've just said, hey, I want to be able to do that?
You know, I don't know if any of our competitors, our regular competitors off the top of my head, that did this for work. It depends who comes as well. If Dan Reynolds comes, he's known for flying in Alaska and Canada and backcountry flying. So we may have a few. What I find really exciting about what we do, though, we create a really safe, controlled, within reason, controlled environment for these pilots to practice these short takeoff and landing. So Matthew Peterson, who is the founder of Swamp Stoll in Jennings, Louisiana, he never did backcountry flying. He wasn't comfortable with it until he started competing in the short takeoff and landing competitions that we do. And he gained the skill and the confidence to be able to go do sandbar hops and things like that with other people. So that's the other side of what we do, is instead of people that were already doing this, recreationally backcountry flying, now we have people that start in the National Stoll Series competitions, gain that experience and confidence, and now they go out backcountry flying. So
that's pretty interesting.
What a benefit, right?
Yeah.
What a benefit.
So you mentioned when you came up here the first time that this would be a little different than your other events because as we don't have quite the rainfall that you do in the other areas of the country, we don't have the grass that they're landing on. Is that going to be a little different for the pilots coming in?
I think so, but that's part of being a good pilot. Again, we are just taking off and landing on an airport, which is common practice at airports. So I think that is a good thing to test that. I mean, because we are testing their skills, really, aren't we? And if you're backcountry flying and doing sandbar hops or on the side of a mountain, that terrain is always going to be changing.
And so you'll have a competition on the asphalt runway, but also on the dirt to the north of it. There's some mowed grass, or is there a hybrid of such?
No, we usually don't switch runways at a particular airport. We do have a couple of exhibition aircraft that are coming for this event, and I do not remember what they were. They just emailed the other day. They're a little bit bigger and require more distance than we're able to offer them over on the, well, it's not grass, is it dirt? Whatever, over there, dirt, grass mixture over
Somewhere
there.
in there, yeah.
Right? So we are going to have, it's 3 of them coming, so it'll be an exhibition class. They will not be competing, but we will need to use the actual asphalt runway for those guys because their takeoff is about 100 or about 800 feet. They are saying so.
Sounds like a super fun day.
But
honestly.
So Outlaw, which is in the desert, was in Yuma, Arizona. We did that on the asphalt runway. Mm-hmm. So yeah, so events you have to work with what each airport the venues have and it switches it up and it keeps it interesting.
So when you say short takeoff and landing, can you give us kind of the difference between what your normal pilot would need as far as takeoff and landing and what your competitors are trying to get down to?
Well, that depends. Different classes. Our heavy touring, Warren, the winds were in his favor. He's our heavy touring celebrity there, Warren G. He's got a beautiful aluminum polished and tennis ball green 180. He took off in less than, I think he took off in like 150 feet in a 180. But these guys, some of the novice guys or the ones that do not have any type of modifications on their aircraft, they can be in the upwards in the heavy touring of 200, 250, depending on their experience. And as they get honed in, then of course those distances get shorter and shorter. Then we have Steve Henry on the opposite end of the spectrum in the light experimental. He took off in Yuma, I think in 6 feet.
6 feet.
Wow.
Airborne in 6 feet.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
We're not talking about the competition taking place on the asphalt runway. This is going to be in the natural area, dirty. Okay. See, I was thinking asphalt the whole time until you mentioned, the surface. So this is even cooler.
Yeah. Well, we prefer to do it not on the asphalt. For one, these guys with these big Alaskan bush wheels, those things are pretty, expensive. And I think the rumor is every time that they land on an asphalt runway, it costs them about $25 an tire. Mm-hmm. So they definitely prefer the grass strips or the dirt strips.
Yeah, asphalt can be very abrasive.
Yes.
To a soft rubber tire.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. But I wasn't thinking that they were going to be landing in the dirt and taking off in the dirt.
Yeah.
That's what they do in the bush. So, it totally makes sense.
Now, one of the things that it poses for us for a challenge, this is something that we work out venue to venue, is our measuring. So in Yuma, we had thought about doing it on the dirt, but I'm like, well, where are we going to do our markings? We have these really cool big markers for measuring. We lay out this, 600 feet of measuring tape. And so we have line judges that, watch for the wheels to come off the ground, and then they measure, and we radio into production and scoring, and it's this whole thing. And so that is one of the challenges that we are always working with the different terrains that we're working in, is how to get the measuring as accurate as possible. How are we going to paint our markers and stuff like that?
You know, when I was not a kid, maybe a young adult, my father had an Aranca Champ, which is a super fun airplane, and it was a grand champion. We flew all over, and he would get awards and different things. But the best time was when we went out to the desert and we would land on dirt roads, and you could land in 100, 200 feet or whatever and take off, and it was just so much fun to be kind of free and be able to do that and just kind of cruise around at 50 feet above the ground, and just it's a whole different feeling, and then be able to land anywhere you want. Pretty cool.
Yeah, our hashtag is no runway, no problem. One of them is shorter is better, but it's like no runway, no problem.
So you're going to sell T-shirts that say no runway, no problem?
Oh, well, our shorter is better is what is officially on our gear right now, but that's what I like to say, no runway, no problem. So
that's a great slogan.
Well, let's recap the event. So it's Memorial Day weekend. It'll be the Saturday of Memorial Day weekend. At what time? Do we know what time it starts?
Usually our competition starts at 11 a.m. is when we start flying.
Okay.
On Saturdays, yes.
And so it's going to be very spectator friendly. And if folks want to get their tickets early and save $5 a person, where are we sending them?
nationalstole.com/SoCal.
And Stole is STOL.
Mm-hmm.
And if they want to follow the event, or if they can't make it out and they want to watch the event, it's going to be live streamed?
That's correct. We live stream it from our YouTube channel, which is Husky National Stole Series, and then we share it on all of our social, Facebook. So, and I believe it goes up on our website as well. So,
and you've also created a Facebook page just for this event.
That's correct. SoCal Stole, yes, on Facebook.
So that's easy enough to find. So go ahead and follow the page, and we'll share information and keep people updated. And if there are pilots out there and they would like to enter the contest, since this is the first time it's come to Southern California or California, where do we want to send the potential pilot competitors?
Same place. It's all on nationalstole.com/SoCalStole, and we have all the links to get you everywhere you need to go to register to sign up, to get your spectator tickets, and the full schedule is online there as well.
One-stop shopping. That makes it really easy.
And you wouldn't be coming to Tehachapi were it not for our great general aviation airport, our amazing tenants and pilots, and our amazing airport manager, Ashley. So thank you for coming to our town.
Oh, it's great to be here. I'm really excited. I feel like it's just going to be an amazing event.
I do too.
So Ashley, you're the airport manager. I know I see you smiling, but I mean, that's not coming across, for people to see. But what does it feel for you as the airport manager to host an event like this?
Oh, I think it's great. It's great for the community. It's great for the pilots. I think it's great to get the community out to the airport to enjoy the asset, to understand the asset. So having them come out, be a spectator at the event, really excited about that, and just excited that they'd choose Tehachapi. There are tons of places they could have chosen. And even after coming up here with a foot of snow, not being able to see the ground, they still chose Tehachapi.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, I got to say, a lot of that has to do, you were so welcoming, and I just really fed off of your excitement about what you want to do here and how integrated the community is. I love that Dustin has the Build the Plane program here. I'm always passionate about working with the teenage aviation clubs. So it just was, the energy above all, and the excitement, and the support that I feel right away when I met you was a huge contributing factor. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. You are welcome.
Thursdays Build a Plane, right? They do Tuesdays and Thursdays?
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
So maybe as the pilots start to arrive on Thursday, we can maybe ask them if they have time to stop by and say hi to the kids over there in that program.
Yeah, Tehachapi Society of Pilots, very engaged, very positive group. So we're going to get you guys connected.
Oh, yeah. Well, I would encourage them to come out and help and volunteer and get involved, and we'll get them up. And, again, our community is very supportive to anybody that wants to get involved or be involved with general aviation, but especially the children and the teenagers.
And maybe Civil Air Patrol, Ashley.
Yeah.
We can alert them and let them know for parking assistance, different things like that.
We use them regularly at our events for
There
that.
you go.
So
Perfect.
yeah,
Awesome.
I mean, it's a big thing to get the community, the whole community integrated.
And maybe there'll be a food truck or two.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's all coming up Memorial Day weekend, the Saturday of leading in. And it's going to be a fun spectator viewing event. So we invite people to go to, again, it's nationalstole.com. And that's your one-stop shopping. You can purchase your tickets. You can get information about the event. Find out more about the entire series, where you're going to go next. And so if people see this and they're interested and they want to watch the next live stream event, wherever it is, you can follow on the YouTube channel and also on Facebook. So lots of places to go and follow.
Yeah, and I really wanted to go back to the schedule. I highly encourage people to come out for that Thursday practice. It's a lot of fun. It's free Friday practice. When, we start practicing at usually around 1 p.m. After we finish our walkthrough and check the field and get everything set up. And it's it's a relaxed, informal, because we aren't competing yet. So those people that's when our pilots really have the most time to engage their fans or the audience or people that have questions about the different aircraft and how they got involved with STOL. And again, they're very encouraging. So I'd encourage people to take advantage of the free Friday practice to come out and check that out.
So everyone knows we have Aviator Park at the airport, and you can go in as a pedestrian, walk in and hang out at Aviator Park. You'll have a great viewing spot from there on Friday to check out the training.
And maybe some of the kids out there that are homeschooled or some of the private schools, even the public school, but they could come out on Friday as groups and watch this event, get involved in aviation.
I would, the more the merrier.
For sure. We've got a lot of ideas here.
And that's how things get better. When you're opening and we're sharing ideas and thoughts back and forth, and we start seeing the connection, Civil Air Patrol, the Build-A-Plane program, and all these kids that are there at the airport, making sure they know, because like you said, that's the future generations of the event and getting them excited and interested in aviation. And we live in an area that, the aviation is
rich.
Right. Mm-hmm. What a big part of the fabric of who we are. So congratulations, Ashley, on bringing this in and working with Anitra. I mean, what a crown and the jewel for us to have an event like this, the SoCal STOL, here in 2022.
We're excited, and hopefully it'll continue forth from here.
I hope so.
I have a feeling it's going to.
Anitra, is there anything else that maybe we didn't ask you that you'd like to put forward? Or let me ask you this. Past events that we've had this year, how many have you had so far here in 2022?
3, and then the Sun and Fun demo we just came off this past week.
Thinking back for what you've seen here in 2022, was there anything, a highlight or something that you hadn't seen before that has occurred that you go, oh, that was cool. I haven't seen that before. That's maybe something for the spectators to look forward to that have never been exposed to this type of an event.
Well, I can tell you Swamp STOL in Jennings, Louisiana, that was our event that we had in March, just 3.5 weeks ago. And it's growing record numbers. We had 47 registrants, competitive pilots for that event. And they came from Alaska, Canada, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Texas, California. People are coming out in droves for these events, and because of that, we always have really interesting exhibition aircraft. At Sun and Fun at our Central Florida Classic in December, we had a Piper Comanche compete in the heavy touring class, which is unheard of. Retractable gear, our first retractable gear aircraft, in a short takeoff and landing competition. So you just never know what you're going to get, as far as exhibition and the celebrity pilots. Everyone's they love it. And it's because of the culture. It is just super positive community of people that are so supportive. I can't stress that enough. I think that's the best thing that we bring with our event out, It's just a community that we want to see general aviation thrive and grow.
Well, if you want to see an airplane behave like a helicopter, come out and watch the event.
Oh, that's a great way to describe it.
It's going to go woo, right up.
Yeah, straight down, straight up. Love that. Well, Anitra, thank you for making the trip from Florida out here to Tehachapi to talk to us. And I know you're going to go over to the airport and check things out, but appreciate the fact that you scheduled some time in here to talk to us and promote the event.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm happy to be here.
Anything in closing before we wrap things up?
I think we're good. These two are chomping at the bit to get out the airport to start laying things out and make sure it's a safe, fun event.
And Ashley, thank you for sitting in for Corey today.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure it was. We're going to get our audience reach right now is going to be huge
Oh, we
without Corey there.
tripled, our
Little poke at Corey, who's on vacation this week. But folks, we appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us again. This is the National Stole event. It's going to be SoCal Stole, short takeoff and landing. And you can go to nationalstole.com to get more information, buy your tickets, and you get a discount if you buy those tickets in advance. And it's going to be Saturday, May 28th. The day before is free for the practice viewing, and it's all going to be at the Tehachapi Municipal Airport. If you'd like more information, you can always send us an email at media@tehachapicityhall.com. We appreciate your time, and we'll catch you again soon right here on Tehachapod.
Tehachapod is a conversation about Tehachapi designed for the people who live here or who would like to know more about this mountaintop community. If you have a question you would like answered, email media@tehachapicityhall.com. We will try to answer it on a future episode of Tehachapod.